roll.
Awesome. Okay, here we go. Sorry for the delay, everyone, but welcome again, everyone, to both our Facebook Live attendees and also our in-person attendees. To start off the meeting, we're going to rise and salute the flag, and please remain standing for a moment of silence. Okay? Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would like to take a special moment of silence for recently departed Secretary-Treasurer, former Secretary-Treasurer Lenny Salvo. Lenny was a member and a staff member of Local 1500 for well over 40 years. I'd like to honor him. Okay. Okay, thank you, folks, for your patience again, and thank you for joining. Look, our last in-person meeting was in March of 2020, so we're a little bit rusty at this in-person thing. So just bear with us. We've gone almost 2 years between having you guys here at our Union Hall. And, you know, so much has happened since then. We've learned new ways to communicate, you know, Zoom, WebEx, obviously Facebook Live. We had a little bit of practice there leading up to the pandemic. But it's great to welcome you on Facebook Live again, of course, and it's especially great to welcome the folks that are here in attendance as well. So thank you for coming out tonight. Really appreciate seeing you folks. We do have one guest speaker tonight, and we will get to you very shortly, James. You're probably going to be our first speaker, but you will hear from our officers of your union, quite frankly, with an in-depth update of what has been going on with your union. We will have a question and answer period tonight toward the end of the meeting. So for those of you who are watching on Facebook Live, along with giving us your name, your store, and your store number for attendance purposes. If you do have a question, please type your question into the comment area, and we have staff that are monitoring the attendance and the comments, quite frankly. So those questions will be brought to us at the end of or at the beginning of the question and answer period. The folks who are here in attendance, rather than raise hands and go back and forth between the Facebook Live folks and you guys, we have pads and pens in the back of the room. So if you do have a question, or if you develop a question at some point along the way in the meeting, or are they on the side over there, please grab a pad, write down your question. We have reps that will collect your question, and while we're reading the Facebook Live questions, we will also read the in-person questions to everyone that's here, okay? So feel free at some point to get up or raise your hand, and we'll get a pad over to you. But please write your question down so we're not having conversations and that type of thing during this meeting. And then at the end of the meeting, we're going to conduct our year-end raffle. We will be raffling off, I believe it's 35 gift cards tonight. So please make sure you're with us at the end. And again, the Facebook Live folks, tap in at some point during the meeting to let us know what store or company, what store number you are at, and obviously your name as well. So that's kind of an overview of what the meeting's going to be today. At this point, I'd like to invite James Warsaw up from Fusco, Brandenstein, and Rada, our workers' comp attorneys, to address you guys. James, why don't you come on over, have a seat here so that we can see.
Pleasure. Thank you, Joe, for the warm introduction and to be able to come here and speak with you all tonight. Many familiar faces. Those of you kind enough to give introductions that are new to the unions, of course, welcome and thank you again. As Joe stated, we work with Fusco, Brandenstein, and Rada, a law firm that specializes in workers' compensation, Social Security, disability. We do some pension work, veterans work, And that's all the in-house. You know, we also, if you have, well, injuries outside of the job, we can help with those as well, or put you over to attorneys that we've been working with for many, many years. But you know, a lot of the obvious cases I call the slip and fall, or the traumatic injury on the job, where most of you have been here and heard my speech before, know the importance of reporting it right away, documenting, giving us a call. We're happy to help with any of those cases. Some of the less obvious to many of you may be the repetitive strain types of injuries that develop over time. So if you're working for the same job for 5, 10, 15 years, and you just start to develop problems with shoulders, knees, wrists, back, give us a call about those as well. We can talk to you about your rights, and a lot of it may be new information. There's a lot of wrong information about the workers' compensation system out there in general, also about Social Security work. So it doesn't have to be a career-ending injury. It could be something that you've been thinking about or wanting to get some information about. Feel free. There's no out-of-pocket expense to speak with us. Those of you here in person, I'd be happy to meet with you individually or hand out some materials, and you can give us a call, your convenience. So, in addition, in today's world, we should talk about COVID cases, which we really didn't know how the law was going to be treating those initially, if it was going to be something that would be compensable or covered under workers' comp benefit. It's been important to the firm and to the industry in general to take the relatively routine, quarantine for 2-3 weeks, full recovery cases, along with the ones where people got very sick and turned into much more serious cases. So we need to develop that precedent and body of case law so that for those who were very sick and we were able to have that body of case law in place to have favorable decisions, we've been able to help. So yeah, feel free to call with, even if it's a relatively minor claim, you want to have something on record, we're able to show, and then due to some changes in the law, that there's a probability that it was contracted in the workplace, you can get a lifetime medical coverage, even for things that, as we all sit here now, we may not even know what that is. If there's any kind of a latent issue that arises years from now that none of us may even know of, you'll have a case in place and a record of it. So I don't want to take up too much of your time tonight. I do thank you all again for having me here. Feel free to come speak in person, or for those of you online, if you'd like to give us a call, we'd be more than happy to speak with you, talk to you about any of your legal issues. Again, the firm's specialty in the area of disability law. So thank you all again, and it's great to be back.
Thanks, James. Really appreciate it. Unexpected visit from you tonight, but we really appreciate you being here and addressing our folks. Again, if you have any questions for our workers' comp attorneys, he's here, he's in the building. Feel free. Again, you could also type in your questions in the comment box. I would like to introduce our executive board members that are here. Danny Gleason just stepped out, I believe. Mm-hmm. Who else do we have? We have Rob Schnars, Chuck Howard, we have Keith Jefferson in the back, we have George Roman, we have Ray Marrero back there. Who else do we have? Jeannie, I see you back there, Jeannie. Whose hand is that coming up? Alicia Boak. These are your executive board members, your rank and filers that work in the stores, Stop and Shop, King Cullen, ShopRite, Fairway. The folks that make the decisions for the membership here. And we had an executive board meeting right before this meeting, as you heard our notes being read. Also, we appreciate them sticking in. Some of them have been here since 11 o'clock this morning, quite frankly, with some other meetings. And thank you very, very much for being here tonight, folks. Really appreciate it. Okay, I am going to move on to my report. Look, and it's a little bit different this meeting because it feels like it's actually the first one we've been doing, that we've done in a couple of years. Although we've had our virtual meetings over the past couple of years, it's just different when you've got people in the building and you're talking to folks face to face and also virtually. So bear with us as we move forward. Look, so as we previously reported, when the pandemic first hit, we had to put all of our contract negotiations on hold, right? So we're talking about March of 2020, right through the summer of 2020. And first we were able to, when things lightened up a little bit, we were able to meet with Stop and Shop, albeit all virtual. and that was a successful negotiations. Those of you who are on the negotiating committee and attended the Stop and Shop bargaining there via Zoom from home, you know what I'm talking about. We settled and ratified in December of 2020. Right. Since then, we had to meet with all of the companies that we basically put on hold in 2020. So we had contracts expiring in 2020 and contracts expiring in 2021. So the lion's share of our calendar for 2021 was taken up by negotiating contracts that expired or were on extensions. So. After Stop and Shop this year, we quickly moved on to negotiate, ultimately successful with Tops Markets, Wild by Nature, Mandel Key Food, Gemstone Key Food, and the Holiday Farms stores, Associated of Rockville Center, Food Basket of Bayville, Abed Key Food, HMSM in Queens, Glass, Mannix, and SRS ShopRites, which we recently negotiated and ratified. That took up a good portion of time throughout late summer and fall. Hale and Hardy Commissary, which we ratified a couple of weeks ago, and we are ratifying Dan Supreme tomorrow. Reached a settlement with them last week, and we are ratifying them tomorrow. I did leave out 5 and 1 in my notes. That's a single operator Key Food in Jamaica, Queens. And we successfully negotiated a contract there and ratified that one successfully as well. We're also scheduled to meet with Bonadonna ShopRite next Wednesday, the 15th. And we are also seeking to lock down dates for Village ShopRite. Now, again, not to be confused, this is not the Village contract of the Village that bought the Fairway stores in Manhattan and Pelham and the PDC. That's a separate contract, and that contract runs through 2025, I believe. We're talking about the single store on Bruckner Boulevard in the Bronx, which used to be a Pickwick Key Food, closed, and ultimately Village ShopRite came in back in 2018, I believe it was, and purchased that building, renovated it, and it's our only contract with that company as far as Village ShopRite. And we are looking to lock down some negotiation dates there. Their attorney called me as we are going into the executive board meeting, and I presume that's about dates, because that's probably the only thing I'm still waiting to hear from him on. But I'll check his voicemail after this meeting. Yeah, and we'll update that. And after that, we're going to be looking to meet with Pickwick Key Food, and I'll lock that down as well. It's been challenging to negotiate contracts virtually. It's just, as I said, it's just different. In person, face to face, you're able to talk to people, you're able to take breaks, you're able to walk away, you're able to get angry, you're able to yell at each other, quite frankly. It's not quite the same when you're talking into a computer screen. However, all of those contracts we are able to negotiate, or for the most part, we're able to negotiate them virtually. And we've been able to successfully get some of the largest raises that we have ever been able to get. And, you know, we've haggled out hazard pay throughout the initial stages of the pandemic. Pandemic is still here, doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon. We've learned how to adapt a little bit better. We've got vaccines out there and boosters. We've learned how to socially distance ourselves a little bit better. So we mitigate it a little bit better than we were able to initially, although we're still battling these flare-ups and these variants. So as I've said on Shop Steward seminar meetings, and I've said at other meetings, hazard pay may come and hazard pay may go. Our goal in negotiations was to secure as much money in people's hourly rates as possible so that the company can't take that away. You know, so we were also able to secure language in most of our contracts that if there is another statewide or citywide shutdown, and we already know that you folks have to go to work, right? You're so essential. We want to make sure that the company is engaging us for hazard pay for you guys. So we wanted to make sure we maintain or achieved higher wages for everyone with the ability to also get hazard pay going forward. God forbid we ever had a shutdown again. That being said, look, we're still negotiating. We're still going to negotiate as hard as possible. We've locked in on for the most part a lot of 5-year deals. Stop and Shop's a 4.5-year deal. The ShopRite deals are 5-year deals. Some of the Key Food deals, the Dan Supreme that's getting voted tomorrow is a 5-year deal. Mandel's 5 years. Wild by Nature's 5 years. No, we felt that the time was right because we could get as much money as possible that we could get from the companies. Then let's lock it in and lock it in as long-term as possible. You know, it was a difficult situation dealing, or it is a difficult situation dealing through the pandemic for you guys, and we wanted to make sure that the companies recognized you as much as possible, not just today, not just tomorrow, but long-term. So 10 years from now, looking back, you could see that the rates of pay had jumped quite a bit from previous negotiations. That concludes my bargaining report.
All right.
I'm going to pass it over to Ally, Secretary Treasurer Ally Waddy.
Good evening, everyone, and I couldn't be more happy to see you guys tonight. For those of you that watch us, and I think everyone in the room does watch us on Facebook Live, you see why there are delays. We have some protocols we have to follow prior to the meeting start, and quite frankly, it's been very challenging to sit in a room and look at that computer screen. Usually, just for the people in the room to understand this as well, we have one of our staffers making sure that everything is kind of running properly. So we appreciate having you in the house, and we appreciate everything that you've done throughout this year. To give you guys just a little bit of an update, I always end up speaking about the new hires and what's going on. And Local 1500 does have 2 new hires. I don't believe we've mentioned any of them before, but if we have, I do apologize to you. We have 1 new member joining us, Nadline Bishop. She came to us from Stop and Shop and actually Mandel. She held 2 memberships with us, full-time and part-time. So she will be working in the office staff, or she is currently working in the office staff, and we couldn't be more happy and proud to have her. We welcome her as I hope that you also welcome her. We also have in the room one of our newest employees that actually came via someone that you guys know very well, working with the Suffolk Dems via Tony Spielman. We have Zachariah Levitan in the room, so welcome, Zach. Don't call him sir, he definitely does not like that. I've done that a few times, so welcome to you. We appreciate you. Very happy to have you join the team. He's already getting acclimated to the locals' political agenda. I can proudly tell you that Zach is going to be holding up the torch that Tony Spielman had. For those of you that know Tony, he absolutely loved politics. He cared about it. He cared about it because he wanted to move the members' agenda. So he will be carrying that torch, and we'll certainly be working together. He'll be working with Mr. Dan Byers, who's also new to our team, but definitely making some waves out there with the organizing projects and getting his name known by all the politicians in the city. So we'll have a multi-pronged effect going on there, and we hope nothing but success from you guys. And we also have someone joining us tomorrow. Earlier you heard during the reading of the minutes the mention of an employee leaving us, and we have someone replacing that person. Her name is Nancy Lean. She will be the new employee, and we welcome her as well, and we look forward to having her fill that position. So getting past that, and you know what? I think it would be really appropriate for me to in person introduce David Bridgelow. We did mention David. David, please wave. And everyone, David.
Smile and wave, Dave.
Smile and wave. David did join our team a few months ago. He was away on a special assignment in Texas. Proud to report that David did a great job, and we got really fantastic reports from him. It was a great learning experience, not only for him, but also for us through his eyes and through his reports. So we're glad to have you back, and we look forward to have you hit the ground running. So welcome back.
Not with the boot on.
Now, I'm sorry, no pun intended. So, moving on, I think we probably have reported on this several times, but I just want to leave on this note. Our organizing team is getting things done. For those of you that know me, organizing is the most important thing, for me, and it's not, I mean, as an agenda to move every single time that we're trying to build this union. Because if we don't rebuild, then, we're lost. We have so many companies that have gone away. We have the Pathmarks. I'm looking around the room. I see some of my fellow members here that used to work for other companies. And we have to make sure that we continue building, because if we don't do that, then we're losing opportunities, and we're also losing the most important opportunity, which is to help others get the very same things that you guys have. So I'd like to just mention that the 2 campaigns that the organizers won earlier this year, Foragers, are under bargaining right now. We're looking forward to continue bargaining with them. We did have a couple of bumps in the road, and we are trying to quickly expedite getting to a conclusion on that. The campaigns were won in April, and we're not going to wait until April to have that contract signed. So we'll keep you guys posted on that, and I'm sure that will be Joe's next report to give at the next meeting. But I wanted to leave you guys with a couple of messages to just say that, this year, like last year, was challenging, and I think a lot of the messages, whether you heard, if 2021 looks like 2022, and how, forgive my language, but how screwed we were for having that circumstance. But the reality is that some good things did come out of the pandemic, and we keep talking about it because it is important. Your roles as essential workers cannot be forgotten. We cannot allow your companies to just call you heroes and then very quickly go to forgetting that. And removing hazard pay is one thing. We understand that the pandemic has in some ways subsided, but let's talk about some other things. Let's talk about the fact that if there's a snowstorm, you're still expected to go to work. And I'm totally stealing all of these messages from my counterparts here because we talk about it all the time. So let's not forget that. And while we're talking to your companies, let's also not forget to report everything that's happening in your stores. If you see vendors doing things they're not supposed to do, if you see managers doing things they're not supposed to be doing, if they're taking bargaining work away from you guys, please communicate with your reps. The union, I'll say a couple of funny, candid things. It is like a gym membership. Many of us have them. We don't use them. If you don't use your union membership, it doesn't work. We can only be the enforcement vehicle if you allow us to. And I'm not really trying to preach to the choir. I'm asking you guys to carry that message into your stores and make sure that your fellow members know that. Because if they're not reaching out to the union and they're going through something, it's a problem. And it's all in our hands to make sure that we're taking care of that. I also want to take the opportunity to wish you all happy holidays. Thank you for your service. Thank you for everything that you've already done and all of the things that you will do in the future. We look forward to seeing you will do in the future. We look forward to seeing you in the stores, and we look forward to getting back to normal. And I also want to thank Joe and Rob for being part of this team. Under Rob's leadership, we've been able to accomplish things far beyond anything that we were able to do any time before. And I think that says a lot about what we're getting done. To our executive board, because they definitely stick with us. Thank you so much for everything that you do. And obviously to the entire membership. Have a good night, and those will be my remarks for now. Thank you.
Just a reminder, folks, that if we're going to have a question and answer period after Rob gives his presentation. So if you do have any questions, please write them down. A couple folks may have come in a little late. I know people are tapping in late on Facebook Live. There's an announcement that was made earlier. Please, if you have any questions for our question and answer period, type them into the comments or write them on a pad. George is holding a pad over on the side there for those of you who are in attendance. So if you need to ask any questions, please write them down. Okay? Thanks so much.
The softer you lift that up and put it down,
the less offensive it is to these guys. It's so loud when it goes through. It sounds like you're hitting a hammer. How you doing, guys? It's really great to have live bodies again. Ordinarily, that computer screen is sitting right underneath that camera, and literally you're just staring at the abyss that is a computer screen. So you don't know if what you're saying makes sense. You don't know if your joke was good, and you don't know if you've put everyone to sleep. So at least now I'll be able to see, Nicole nudged Joe when I put him out in a few minutes. You might see Chucky, just the mask will fall off because he's in a nod, but at least I'll have a better understanding of how I'm doing up here tonight. So it is, although it's been a while, it's really great to have people back in the hall. This is your hall. It's named after Frank Meehan because it's a membership hall, and there's never been any better representation of our membership than Frank. So welcome back to his house. All right, so I'll start by keeping you around, especially those of you that are either in-house or on Facebook Live. You heard Joe mention that there's going to be 35 raffles tonight. There are going to be 5 $500 gift cards raffled off tonight. I shit you not, there they are. There are also going to be, I believe there are 20 $25 Visa cards and then 10 Stop and Shop gift cards. Look, we're just trying to do everything we can. It's a pretty sensitive time. We recognize that the dollar doesn't go as far as it did a few months ago. Inflation being what it is, we're just trying to put a little bit of money back in the pockets of the members. We felt this was although out of the ordinary, just a simple way to try to give somebody a good shot at a little bit of a better holiday. So if you are not here, you're SOL. There will be a couple offered just to the people in this room, and then we'll open up the pot to those that are on Facebook Live as well. So considering there are more than likely a lot less of you in the room than there are on Facebook Live, your odds of winning $500 are pretty good. I can also tell you your executive board vice presidents are excluded from eligibility to win those cards. So if you look around and you back them out of the number, your odds just went up again. Staff of Local 1500 is ineligible. Your numbers go up again. So that's a good thing for those of you that decided to make the trek out tonight, and we really do appreciate it. Go ahead, Tariq, adjust me. Get me back in the film. All right. Oh, it's Nick, sorry. All right, so, look, I think it's more than appropriate for me to say a few words about Lenny Salvo. Lenny's passing is tragic. It's not, unfortunately, it's not a surprise. Lenny was sick when he retired. He didn't know as he was getting ready to retire that he had a pretty serious pulmonary issue. And he ended up getting a pretty radical and at that time experimental procedure done that, I don't know, maybe it did extend his life, maybe it didn't, I'm not really sure. But Lenny never actually made it to this building in 2010. He retired before we relocated here from the Queens Village office. And, it's been a long time. It's been 11 years, give or take, since Lenny retired. And, a lot's happened in 11 years. A lot of new members, a lot of older members have retired, and more than likely, thousands of people that knew Lenny and maybe got to the end of the rainbow because of him have now retired. But I think I'd be remiss if I didn't say a few things about him. So first thing I'll say to you is this: Lenny Salvo started as an organizer in this organization and worked his way up through every single rank in the building, up to and including secretary treasurer when he retired. And Lenny Salvo had this uncanny ability to make people love and hate him. And the joke I made on the executive board earlier was sometimes in the same exact conversation. Lenny was a soldier for this union. Whether you liked him or not, whether you agreed with his opinion or his position or not, Lenny would fight any case, any cause to death just because it's what he enjoyed doing. There were times he had grievance meetings where he literally just wore the manager down to dust, and even though they had no basis to win the case, the manager would just cave in because they had to go back to work. And that was just the type of person Lenny was. Lenny didn't care if he was the only no in a sea full of yeses or the only yes in a sea full of no's, and he cared about his membership. After he retired, things change for everybody when they retire. I mean, that's just the simple fact of life. And maybe we didn't have as close a relationship post-retirement as we did when he was employed here. But I can assure you that Lenny Salvo, through his 40 years with this union, gave a hell of a shit about our members, fought every day to try to do everything possible to raise their benefit levels and to protect their families. And his loss is something that we should all recognize, and we should all keep his family and his friends in our memory, because he did a hell of a lot for those of us that came before. So thank you, Lenny, for everything you did, and may you rest in peace. Okay. Let's talk about Omicron or Omnicron, however you want to pronounce it, the latest and greatest variant of COVID-19. Our illustrious mayor in New York City, I guess he's really trying to go out with a bang, mandating vaccinations for all city workers, all workers that work in New York City, not just city workers, by December 27th. I can guarantee you there are already lawsuits being filed left, right, and center. We have a conference call with 2 local unions and Stop and Shop on Friday to try to have a unified position. Quite frankly, the employers don't know what to do. We already don't have enough help in our stores. If you can't go to work without a vaccination, you're going to eliminate another percentage of the population from coming to work. Ali says often, elected officials are really great at passing legislation without knowing what you do once it's passed. So the best ideas sometimes come with absolutely no ability to implement, whether it's no enforcement on a decision that's made, something like bail reform or street vendor licensing, or whether it's something like vaccine mandates. Well, who the hell's going to go in and do these jobs? Who's going to go to work if you refuse to allow anybody who's not vaccinated to go to work? They tried it with the New York City Police Department. They tried it with the Fire Department. They tried it with emergency services, and it backfired. Thankfully, those situations have resolved themselves at least temporarily. It's more than likely similar to our federal government negotiating these temporary stays so that the government doesn't shut down. But I'm hoping that there's some middle ground to an insistence that the entire workforce in New York City have to be vaccinated or they can't come to work by the 27th, because it's just not, it's not right, it's not fair, it doesn't address people who have medical or religious exemptions, it doesn't give anybody an opportunity to try to get more comfortable with the vaccine, it doesn't provide a test or mask-wearing alternative. You know, this is a labor union, and the one thing we do is represent the opinions of our members, even if they're unpopular in the room. My job as the president of this union is to make sure that every member's opinion has an opportunity to be heard or at least be represented. And in the situation where there are palatable alternatives to forcing vaccinations versus layoffs, ignoring them is not something we can tolerate. So we will absolutely dovetail in with any coalition or any lawsuits that do pile in to make that stop. I'm not sitting here projecting pro or anti-vaccine. I'm not sitting here saying anything other than the rights of the working class in New York City are not determined by one individual, whether he's the frickin' mayor or not. So I think there needs to be cooler heads prevail, and we will do everything we can to get some clarity. Unfortunately, I don't think anybody expected this when we woke up on Monday morning, so we're still kind of scrambling to get in front of it. Quite frankly, a lot of people that the de Blasio administration works very closely with on a daily basis were equally as shocked on Monday morning. So I don't feel too bad that we were left out of the communication chain, but I don't expect that to change. He's an outgoing mayor, and I guess he's just trying to leave a legacy as he goes. So we'll see what happens. I would imagine by now everyone heard that the Amazon location in Staten Island, the Amazon warehouse, had filed a petition for a union election and then withdrew that petition a number of days later. That's not an organized union. It's not the UFCW. It's not the RWDSU. It's a group of Amazon employees. They actually formed, or they're forming their own union called the ALU, the Amazon Labor Union. It's a phenomenal movement. It's not one that we are directly affiliated with, but I can tell you that we have some very good friends that are extremely, extremely close to the effort. I don't think people should misread filing and then withdrawing that petition. There are a million variables that go into an organizing drive of a normal size. When you take into account an Amazon warehouse or a facility of that nature that has between 5,000 and 7,000 people working in it, depending on the holiday temps and new employees that come through the door, that's a big-ass mountain to climb. That's the easiest way I can put it. So I don't think anybody should rush to judgment as to why it happened. I think the fact that they had enough cards to file to begin with is an unbelievable achievement for a bunch of rank-and-file workers, because that's exactly what they were. I'm not saying that they didn't have some organized labor support in the background, because they may have. They may not have. I'm not close enough to have a heartbeat, but I assure you that with the proper guidance and potentially with the right partnerships, I think that could be the first chink in the armor for Amazon in this country. That's really important to us, because as we sit here tonight, there are 6 locations in our jurisdiction, most of which were former A&P locations or Fairway locations that are now readying to open as Amazon Fresh stores in our jurisdiction. There's one in South Setauket, one in Oceanside, one in, oh my God, why can't I think of the name of the town in New Jersey? Am I losing my mind? Paramus and Woodland Park, New Jersey, the two former fairways. The former Fairway Plainview on Minetto Hill Road, and there's another site in Staten Island that was a small strip stores that have now been renovated and combined to be a single location. Amazon is not the type of company that doesn't have the money to open 5, 6, 10, 20, 30 stores at one time. So these stores have been monitored by us and our staff every week for the last, 8 or 9 months. We've watched them go from just putting up fencing to doing the finishing touches on the facade and getting ready to move the product in. They'll have an impact. There's no question about it. They will have an impact. What that impact is remains to be seen. But I can assure you it's not something we're going to stand on the sidelines and watch. As I said, Amazon is the type of company, they have the type of monetary capability that they could have 6 stores tomorrow and 26 a month from now. Because they have the money to buy any materials, they have the money to outbid any contractor to get them on their site to do their bidding. It's not like one of us, if we were going to do a small project in our home right now, you'd have to wait for a contractor to be available or be willing to pay a 35% premium to get them there in a timely fashion. It's just the type of world we're living in right now. And Amazon does not abide by the same rules that we do. They print their own money. As you can tell, it's on the news every single day. I mean, that's just all there is to it. If you consider holiday shopping and the amount of traffic that went through Amazon's websites on Black Friday, the single day does more business than most of our employers do in a year, and that's just a fact of life. So keep your eyes and your ears open, follow that project. If you're in that area and those workers are out there, show them your support. We're brothers and sisters, whether they're affiliating with the UFCW or not, and quite frankly, it's an amazing, amazing shot in the arm to labor if something good happens there. So we wish them all the best. Today, 3 Starbucks stores in Buffalo, company-owned stores, not franchise-owned stores, also voted. There was an independent group of members that still wanted to start their own union there. So the 3 stores in Buffalo cast their ballots. They finished casting them today. The results are supposed to come out tomorrow. Again, think about how many Starbucks stores there are just in our vicinity. Starbucks immediately does what every large company did. They tried to suck 7 other stores in that geography into the pool. They lost that bid at the board, so the 3 stores were allowed to vote independently, which is a fabulous situation. Maybe they win, maybe they lose. Either way, this is the first 3 Starbucks stores to ever get to a point of an election of this magnitude, and it's a significant victory regardless of the outcome. Obviously, we're hoping that they win, so we'll hope to see that and many more things to come. You heard Joe mention our settlements, and he rattled off quite a few, so many which that he actually had one on a different list that was still pending. But the reason I bring it up is we're going to start converting and translating all of our large contracts into Spanish. So what you'll see is the availability, not in the traditional booklet form very quickly for a lot of our contracts. Our reps will have all of your contracts once the changes are done in English on their tablets, on their phones. They'll be able to airdrop them to you, email them to you, text them to you if you need. But we're taking the time to have the contracts translated into Spanish by a translation company. And why do I say that? To our Spanish-speaking members, there are thousands of different dialects. And for us, that's a very dangerous road or a very slippery road to go down. So we will translate into general Spanish. It'll be done by an accredited translation agency because that's the only safe way for us to do it. And in the case of there being a word in the wrong place or an accent or a syllable in the wrong place, the English version will be the premier. That will trump anything that's potentially miswritten or misinterpreted in the Spanish contract. But we have an enormous percentage of our members that are not comfortable reading and writing in Spanish, reading and writing in English. Easy for me to say. And it's way beyond the time where we convert their collective bargaining agreements into a language that they can more comfortably utilize, understand the benefits, wage packages, and emoluments that this union offers them so that they have a fair and equitable opportunity to understand what their working conditions will look like. Stop and Shop is the first major contract that's being translated. The English version is available. It's been available with your representative since June of 2021. We've never turned a contract around in 6 months with Stop and Shop, ever. And we had the English version ready to roll in 6 months. We have taken just about every recourse to get these contracts, as they're settled, to force the attorneys and the labor relations people right back to the table to put the changes into the collective bargaining agreement, get them signed off so we can get them to the printer. believe it or not, the process for us going back and forth, I don't know where Ecker is in this room somewhere, but Rob Ecker is our administrative field coordinator. He does all the back and forth with the printing company. You'd never want to know how many mistakes happen when you send a document to a printer and it gets reformatted, but that's his cross in life to bear. He does it every single day for us while doing his representative work. But I bring it up to you because we're trying to turn the contracts around faster. As many settlements as we have, we don't want to lose track. We don't want contracts stuck in the pile and sitting around for 7 months, 8 months, a year. To our VSM Fairway and Fairway PDC folks, yes, we got your message loud and clear at the virtual Shop Steward Seminar for New York City. I have an appointment to review the changes with the attorney on Friday, if memory serves correct, Friday afternoon. So God willing, we'll be able to get that contract done. That will also be a primary conversion into Spanish. The Fairway contract was the only contract this local ever had that was always printed in English and Spanish, I believe since 1998, if I'm not mistaken. So we hope that if you didn't know that your reps have English copies of the contract, now you do. Harass them. They're all here. They'll get them to you as quickly as possible. Let's talk about a couple other good things for the union. One, we have a new SRS store coming in 2022 in Elmsford. I believe it's on Route 119. It's a ground-up construction. It's not replacing an existing store. I don't know what was there before, but I believe they're demolishing it, or well, I guess they call it raising the property, and then they'll redevelop it to be another SRS store. We can't wait to get that on the books. And we have a Holiday Farms that is going in the old Woodbury Fresh Market site, just off of Route 25, and I guess it's Woodbury, not Syosset, but it's close enough to the border where you could probably call it either. I got to be honest with you, right now they're having a couple permitting issues, and quite frankly, they need help. No different than any of you need help. The difference is there's nobody there right now, and they're trying to just get enough people just to try to get the shit in the building and try to get the store stocked and open for operation. Obviously, the higher income areas of the island have a little bit more of a difficult time getting help than some of the more modest income areas, but he's got to get open. So if anybody knows anybody looking for a job, send them up to the Holiday Farms in Woodbury, because the Mandel family is definitely looking to hire people. And for us, until they get open, we can't get new membership in the building. So we'd like to take what was formerly a non-union building and make it a union building. That's a victory for us. On Tuesday, we have a trustee meeting here in the building. Any of our members that are dealing with a diabetes situation, you'll be contacted if you haven't already. You'll get some outreach from a company called Livongo. That's completely legitimate. We're doing a few things with a number of companies. We're going to be interviewing the Guardian nurses tomorrow, and not tomorrow, next week, and I believe somebody from Memorial Sloan Kettering as well. There's a host of different opportunities for us to give our members better access for advocates that are specialists with certain diseases, certain conditions, certain medications, and anything that we can do that's going to alleviate stress, that's going to alleviate members that are sick or maybe have a dependent who's sick, trying to figure out and navigate through the medical world. There are people out there that do this. We're going to try to contract with them, forgive me. That will do two things. One, it'll give you a leg up. You'll have a better understanding of what do's and don'ts, where to go, where not to go. But more importantly, it'll also make sure that your costs are reduced dramatically. These guys know every single in, out, nook, cranny. They know every turn, every way to save a penny, they'll do it. That's the reason that we're looking to contract with them. So the one specific is Livongo right now. So if you do get an outreach from them, it's not a scam, it's not spam, it's legit. And you should check it out, because not only will they make your life a little bit better, but they'll also save you money. And as these things continue to develop, we've heard nothing but horror stories. And when somebody gets a condition, I mean, Joe, I don't want to embarrass you at all, but you know, at the end of the day, we sit here with one of our longest-term members, one of our most vocal members for decades, Joe Amorosa, and I'm sure what your family went through when you were in the hospital was nothing short of a nightmare. And to have somebody potentially who would have been able to be by Nicole's side and to maybe guide your family a little bit better, who knows that system, wouldn't have changed where you were and what you were going through, but it certainly would have changed the impact and the frustration and the difficulty that your family faced, in addition to worrying about your safety. And there are certain medical conditions, there are certain medications, there's certain opportunities out there, and we're going to continue to investigate them at all costs, just because any stress that we can relieve from a member is something that, you know, at the very least that we should try to do. So we wanted to make you aware of that. On the side, as much as our COVID bills had started to finally subside, we got a bill today for $1.926 million for last week. Our bills tend to average right around $1 million a week. This week was just under $2 million, and the top claim on that bill was a $639,000 claim from Stony Brook Hospital for a COVID member of ours. So we are by no means out of the woods for our membership. We have members that are very, very dramatically affected today, no different than they were in March and April of 2020. It's important. This is not going to make me very popular, but the safest thing out there, yeah, go get vaccinated, don't get vaccinated. But if you're vaccinated, you can still get the disease. If you're vaccinated, you can still carry it and give it to somebody else. Yes, if you're vaccinated, science tells you that you're going to have a lower impact. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't wear a mask. And I know wearing it sucks. And I don't envy any one of us in the stores that are wearing a mask. I don't envy you. But my job is to try to keep you as safe as possible. Whether it makes you happy with me or not, whether it makes you uncomfortable or not, safety is more important than comfortability. And from my perspective, every one of our members should be wearing a mask every day. You just don't know who's around you. You don't know who they were around before you were around them. You damn for sure don't know about your customers. Protect yourselves. I beg you to protect yourselves. Not because I don't want to pay the bill on the welfare side. I don't want to get another call about another member lost to COVID. And no, there's nothing you can do that makes it completely unavoidable, but you should cross the T's, you should dot the I's, and to Chuck's point earlier, you should dot the little J's, because that's the only way you're going to give yourself the best chance possible not to get it. So please, it's not me preaching, I'm imploring upon you to help protect yourselves and protect your family. I was lucky. My daughter got COVID 2 weeks ago. I'm shocked that it took as long as it did with what she does. But she got COVID 2 weeks ago, and it was a very, very painless experience for her. A couple of days. She's 15 years old. But if she had brought that to my father, who has one lung and is 75 years old, I can assure you it wouldn't have been painless for my family. So I think it's important that I say it. I said it. I hope you don't resent me for saying it or think I'm preachy, but I think it's really important for all of your safety. So let's just get into 2 or 3 other things, and then I'll let the couple people get a couple bucks in their pocket. This year, I want to thank our members and our staff. As you saw Steve waving a stack of cash earlier. I know Jay Scorzelli, you got a raffle tonight as well, I believe. We did really well this year from a fundraising perspective. Considering most of our in-person events had to be curtailed or canceled, we still raised just shy of 90 grand for the charitable causes that we donate to every year. You know, we do breast cancer, we do leukemia, we do Autism Speaks, we do Neff Cure, we do muscular dystrophy, but it's not just muscular dystrophy. Where's Lynn? What's Nicole's, the muscular dystrophy charity? Is it Parents? It's a derivative of, it's not just through the main muscular dystrophy. I can't think of. Yeah, well, we do that. That's what Lynn Shields does, her comedy show in Nassau County for each year. We've done so many charitable contributions across the board. St. Jude's Children's Hospital is another one that we're very common with, as well as St. Mary's Children's Hospital. You don't know the impact that the money you raise, whether it's buying a raffle ticket for scratch-offs or going on a fishing trip with Jeff Guardado, watching my daughter get yelled at for winning the 50-50, whether it's going bowling or, there's so many little events that our staff runs, and that they wouldn't be successful without your membership's participation. And quite frankly, Nicole Cirillo walked in with $500 tonight for Steve Zeiner's raffle, and it's a 50-50. So none of this happens without our stewards and without our members, and we can't thank you enough, because being able to raise 90 grand in a COVID year is just absolutely fantastic. We don't run a golf outing. That's not the type of local we are. We try to take our events back to our members, back to the stores, back to grassroots. It gives us an opportunity to interact with you. You run a golf outing, you can raise a lot of money, but I assure you 90% of our members can't attend the golf outing. They can't afford the 250 or the $300 to just go there. They can't afford to take the day off. They may need to get to another job. They may need childcare. It's a great way to raise money. It's just not a great way for us to raise money. And maybe the person that replaces me will think different, but as long as I'm here, I think it's really, really vital that all of our fundraising be grassroots, come from our members, go through our customers, get our employers to get their asses together and help us out, because that's what they should want to do. And the bottom line is we donate to charities that help our members every single day. So thank you. 90 grand is freaking amazing for a COVID year. So I think you all deserve a round of applause. Last couple things I want to talk about. You heard Joe mention that the UFCW negotiated a neutrality and access agreement with Fresh Direct in the Bronx. So if you don't know, earlier this year, Stop and Shop invested over $600 million with a private equity company and took a majority stake in Fresh Direct. Fresh Direct is the biggest delivery outfit. It's a e-commerce facility. Used to be in Long Island City. It now has a state-of-the-art facility in the Bronx. They got all kinds of tax abatements and incentives to go there. There are over 9 miles of conveyor belts inside that building. It's literally Fort Knox. It was built to be union avoidant. And what does that mean? You cannot access it from the street. If you can get there, the population is split up. They keep the workers apart. This group stays away from that group. There's very little intermingling. And quite frankly, it was built that way on purpose. The previous owner of Fresh Direct used to be a partner at the Fairway Company when Fairway was 2 stores. And he came to odds with Howie Glickberg, the former Fairway owner, and he was unceremoniously bought out. And his thank you to Fairway for buying him out was starting Fresh Direct. So his name was Joe Fideli, no relation to our Joe Fideli that used to be our media and communications guy. But he started Fresh Direct. And although he never made money in the early years, it continued to grow. It continued to gain incredible momentum in the city of New York. And from an e-commerce perspective, Stop and Shop looked at it 2 ways. Why are we going to go into an area and try and reinvent the wheel when we can buy someone who already has 4 on the ground? And that's what they did with Fresh Direct. However, it took about 10 months before the UFCW convinced them to sign a neutrality and access agreement. There would have been no way, in my estimation, for any local union to walk through and try to organize that place in a traditional fashion. So we're incredibly thankful that the UFCW was able to do this. They signed the majority status of the workers in under 3 days in meetings of, I think, between 50 and 100 workers. We have filed a jurisdictional claim to represent those workers. There were over 1,800 people in that facility, all but a handful of full-time. So just wrap your heads around that for a second in comparison to your stores. It's completely opposite the labor pool in your stores. We may or may not be awarded that jurisdiction. I can tell you we believe beyond a reasonable doubt that we should in no question be granted that jurisdiction, but it's in the hands of the International Union. We've submitted a letter with the credentials for why we believe we should represent it, and we will update the membership as soon as we know what the answer is. Whether it's our Peapod folks, whether it's our Click and Collect folks, whether it's our ShopRite Shop from Home folks, whether it's our Fairway PDC people, all of the jobs done in that facility are done by our members right now in those companies. It is an absolute marriage to our local union as far as the market share and as far as the business goes, and we're extremely hopeful that the international rules in our favor. We have the infrastructure, we have the staff, and we have the ability and the knowledge how to represent those people on day one. And I, for one, am very anxious at the opportunity to do that. So let's keep our fingers crossed that we get a good decision, and we'll keep you up to date as we go. You heard Ali reference David Bridgelal. David was here for a couple of weeks, and we said, hey, Dave, welcome to 1500. Pack a bag. You're going to Houston. And Dave went down and represented his ass off for us in a very, very difficult situation at Kroger. Kroger took on Local 455 down in Houston, and they went after their checkoff. So most people really don't even understand what that means. It's a clause in every one of our contracts. It basically mandates that the employer takes the dues from your check and once a month remits them to the union. That's a way for a company to really say F you to the union by going after checkoff. They were involved in a pretty nasty contract dispute. And I guess things got a little too heated, and that's where it ended up. I know that when David left Houston, they were taking strike authorization votes. But I assure you, when you're bargaining against the biggest operator in the country, not in the area, not in the state, not in the city, but in the country, things can get a little carried away when you lose your temper at the table. And they, like Amazon, have a lot more money at their disposal to do whatever the hell they want to try to prove a point. So, David, I just want to thank you personally on behalf of the membership for the job that you did down there. I know that our staff was thrilled that David came to work here, because it kept one of them from jumping on a plane and heading for Houston. So they all owe you a couple lunches here or there, Dave. I'm sure you'll figure out how to collect. But again, our staff really having an impact, not only in our area, but across the country. Juan Guardado, who's not here with us tonight, he had a little family issue he had to take care of. He's been working for the last 6 months with a newly affiliated local union in downtown Brooklyn, Local 1718. 1718 was an independent union for the United Production Workers, and Juan has been working very, very hard with a group of members that took over that local. They were extremely unhappy with the current leadership of that local union. There was an open call for an election. Members not only were nominated, but voted and got more votes to run that union than the leadership that had been there. And there's some argument as to whether or not they were actually leading that union or just kind of no-show jobbing that union, but they took it over. They needed a lot of help. As you would imagine, members are great at their jobs, but they don't necessarily understand on day one what it means. If you want an election to be a union president, you have to figure out what the hell that means. And they needed a lot of help. They reached out. The UFCW allowed them to affiliate with us. They were an unaffiliated union. And Juan's been helping them service their shops, handling grievances. He personally was involved in 2 decertification elections where another union was trying to raid their shops, and Juan crushed in both of those elections. And if you don't know Juan, that was like giving him speed, man. He was all over that. Somebody trying to take something that belonged to somebody else, nah, not only no, but hell no. And he did a great job for us in the eyes of the International, and he's still working with them on a regular basis. He has, I believe, 11 shops right now that he services for that local alongside that staff, in addition to the run that he currently has in Brooklyn and Nassau County. So, I bring those things up because I just don't think there'd be any way for the membership to know. I think sometimes you see your members, you see your representatives or your service reps, they come through, and then you see them again a couple weeks later or a month later, and you really don't have a concept of what happens in between those visits. And for our staff, it's a matter of a phone call, a text, or an email that comes from this office that dramatically changes the scope of their next couple of days, weeks, or months. And I can tell you that I couldn't be prouder of the staff that we have right now. There's a lot of new faces in this room, but virtually everyone that we've hired is a former member or someone that had a shit ton of experience working for another union. And that does nothing but give us a leg up on day one. So I couldn't be prouder of the current staff we have. Desmond, I keep looking your way. Joe referenced the contract at Village ShopRite, which is where we stole Desmond from not that long ago, and Desmond's now a representative for us up in the Bronx. And Steve Ziner was at Wild by Nature, another contract we finished this year. We stole him from our executive board, and he crushed it in his first 2 years, and how he's out on the East End. So we're going to continue to do that, and we're going to continue to look for members and identify potential candidates. Still looking for a 4th service rep, still looking for a bilingual female that wants to learn how to organize. That's a very, very important demographic to us, especially if they're city-based or upstate-based. That would be an unbelievable asset to this union. So please, if you're interested, send an email to jobs@ufcw1500.org, and we'll get back to you as quickly as possible.
It works, right? That process works.
Yeah, where's Alicia Listumbo, who 3 meetings ago sent 26 text messages, 400 Facebook messages, and 2 emails during the meeting, and then prior to the next meeting was already in the field on the job. So I give her credit for her fortitude. So, but thank you very much for everything that our staff does, not only for our members, but for the members of our sisters and brothers all throughout the UFCW, the RWDSU, and even some unaffiliated locals. So thank you, and I would be remiss if I didn't close by saying I hope that everybody gets an opportunity over the next couple of weeks to spend some time with their family, and maybe not the way we always do, right? I sometimes sit with my family and it's like, oh my God, the same shit again. We're going to sit on the same seat on the couch. We're going to watch the same stupid movies. We're going to have the same conversations, the same arguments. We're going to eat the same food. And then I'm going to be like, traffic.
She saying something? Your mom?
Don't mess with me, Joe. But you know what? I think sometimes we can take just about anything for granted if we don't take an extra second to think about it.
Absolutely.
And the one thing I hope this year, in light of everything that everybody's been through over the last 2, is that it's a little bit better than last year, and maybe sets the table for an even better 22 than we had in 21. Because there's no question, as brutally screwed up as 21 was, it was light years better than 20. And I think if we can continue to make a little bit of progress every year, we'll get back to some form of a new norm, because right now the norm sucks. It's terrible. I don't envy any of our members. I'm extremely proud that I get the opportunity to represent you. But I'll be quite honest, I don't know how most of you do your jobs on a daily basis with the constraints, whether it be supply chain, whether it be not having the proper help, whether it not having any degree of good supervision, whether it just be because the people you try to help in those stores sometimes just, you can't help them. They just can't be helped. But no matter what, in the face of all of it, you managed to do an unbelievable job, because none of your employers would be successful without you. And I think, for the first time in any of your careers, they all know it. They all know it. Every one of your employers is poaching help from the guy down the block. Every one of you went from a replaceable part to the irreplaceable oh shit. Because you have employers walking into your stores, looking at somebody cutting cold cuts, or looking at somebody on a front end, or looking at somebody on a receiving door and going, I'll give you a $3 raise, come with me right now. And that's going to continue to happen over and over again as people leave the buildings. So your value is increasing at exponential rates every day. If you don't forget it, you won't let your employers forget it. Not everybody in this room is Joe Amoroso or Kathy Brawley, but if everybody got a little bit more like them, got a little bit more boisterous, I think they'd recognize you a little bit more on the shop floor for the things you do every day. So from my family to yours, God bless you. Good luck. Please stay safe and enjoy your time off with your families. Thanks.
You want to do Q&A now?
It's up to you. We got any?
Yeah, we got questions, guys?
Yes, sir. Sending them up now.
Okay. What, via digitally or what? And do we have any questions in the, from the crowd? Okay. Take this off. Take a moment to say hi to Don Pontarelli from 328. Very active in the comments, Don. Thank you very much for attending, as usual.
You know what? This is
Hey,
backwards.
Dom.
I start talking, and the Rangers go from a 2-1 lead to a 4-1, down 4-1, or 4-2.
What a two- well,
This is terrible. I'm not allowed to talk anymore. All right, here we go. All right, give me that mic.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Chris Decio, Stop and Shop 594. Who do I contact about paying your union dues? 594 is Islandia? Who has Islandia? You pointing?
Jeff.
That's Jeff Guardato. So you call Jeff Guardato. You can give him a call at the union office, 516-214-1317. And Jeff will be glad to help you. Or you can call Michelle Wright, our office manager, at 516-214-1351. They'll be happy to help you. Kathleen Cassidy, Stop and Shop 2551, concerning COVID. What can be done if a member is told by contact tracing that they need to quarantine due to potential exposure? However, they were told by HR that they can work. Well, Kathleen, I would say the first call you should make is to your union representative, because occasionally the folks at HR are misinformed. Let your union representative evaluate the entire situation, and then they can give you some advice. Sandy Bracco, hey Sandy, how's your mom? Stop and Shop 522, Sandy was on our Stop and Shop negotiating committee. Her mom was always in the background in the kitchen. Any news on the 12 Grand Union stores opening in Westchester? Okay, so first of all, the Grand Union is acquiring, it's a banner, so it's not a company anymore. The banner is owned by CNS, and that happened through the CNS bankruptcy. The Tops merger with Price Chopper is resulting in divestiture of stores, very similar to what happened when Stop and Shop and Delhaize merged, very similar to what happened when King Cullen bought stores during the Pathmark A&P merger as well. So Grand Union is backed, the banner is backed by CNS. So it's a union company, 110%. Those stores will be represented up north by Local 1. Local 1 represents those top stores now. I have not heard anything about 12 Grand Union stores opening in Westchester. I would think that might be a rumor, but Sandy, we will definitely check it out. Local 1500 did have some Grand Unions many years ago, but I would have to do some research as far as where those banners were and when the last time we represented them. Darlene Nicholas from D'Agostino 16. As far as the minimum wage goes, what are we doing to combat wage compression versus inflation? Yeah, Darlene, I got to be honest, this is the $64 million question. In the city of New York, where you are, I don't know whether you want to say fortunate or unfortunate enough to work in, the illustrious mayor took what was supposed to be a 6-year or 5-year and 1 day path to $15 an hour and made it 2 years and 1 day. As much as I would love to sit here and tell you that I'm super union president, there's not a whole hell of a lot I can do when an employer is forced to give $6 an hour in increases in 2 years and 1 day. I know that doesn't exactly answer your question, but a lot of our recent settlements have included additional across-the-board wage increases for folks that have been around for a period of time, whether it's the career part-time date or there's a split based on the population. But it's a very difficult situation for anyone, and I don't expect that anyone's going to sit there and go, oh, this makes perfect sense, I'm okay with it. But it's a difficult situation for anyone to expect an employer who's being forced to give $6 an hour over 2 years and 1 day to now in turn provide another $3, $4, or $5 an hour so that people who have been there for an extended period of time don't lose the gap between new hires and the tenure that you had before. I get it. I completely respect the frustration. Unfortunately, there's just not a simple answer. So we're trying to address it in settlements. Your contract is up next year with the Gristedes contract. It's one of the 22 expirations we have to bargain. So I would tell you, if you're interested, you should get a hold of Mr. Waddy, as he is your collective bargaining representative, and he'll be the lead negotiator in that contract, and try to get on the committee. We'd love to have some people want to voice. It doesn't go as well from us as it does from members that actually have that issue in the stores. So thank you for your question. Deb Athens, hey Deb, been a while. Dan's 12, why are customers not held to the same standard that employees are concerning masks? Deb, your companies are in the sales business. And if your company refuses to allow a customer in the building who's not wearing a mask, they will absolutely go down the block to another store that will allow them in the building without wearing a mask. If you're not selling product, you're not getting hours. If your company doesn't make business, if your company doesn't have the wherewithal to maintain its rent and all the costs that are affiliated with the stores, you're not going to have a job. So from our perspective, it's not a perfect solution by any means, but if the government is not going to pass mask mandates that are across the board for all customers, we can't expect your employer to do something that puts themselves in a detrimental situation as far as being able to sell groceries and keep you employed. You may or may not agree with that, but those are simple facts from our perspective. Amanda Rose, Stop and Shop 567, I think that's a Dutchess County store. When the minimum wage goes up in January, what happens with full-time employees? Also, will bakery manager position ever come back? Okay, so two questions, two answers. One, full-time employee minimum goes up with the minimum wage at Stop and Shop. It traces at, I believe it's $3 an hour above the stated minimum wage in the area. So if you are at full-time minimum now and the part-time minimum goes up because of minimum wage, your wage would go up as well. As far as the bakery manager's position, Stop and Shop never had a bakery manager. Edwards had a bakery manager. I shouldn't say Stop and Shop never did. There may have been bakery managers in the two old stores 100 years ago, but the predominant number of bakery managers that exist in that building came through mergers and acquisitions with Foodtown, with Edwards, with Pathmark as well, and Wallbaum's, the companies that they acquired. The bakery manager has always been a premium position, to my recollection, in the Stop and Shop contracts. We've done everything we can to get the rates raised. That's why it's now a significantly different rate than it was even 2 contracts ago. But every time we bargain a contract, Marge will answer that. That's all right. It's Amanda. She's calling you. So it's something that we try to accomplish every time we bargain. We've managed to do a lot with the rate, but we haven't managed to get it recognized as a department manager rate at Stop and Shop. So I apologize, but that's the answer to the question. We got anything else?
Is it on the questions?
That's it on the ones from Steve.
Just so much watches. Says thanks for letting me watch.
Wow. Saying hello from UFCW 655 in St. Louis, Frank Greenreich?
Aaron Rich.
Oh, Aaron. Wow, I can't read your handwriting at all. Frank Aaronrich. Well, thank you, brother. That's pretty awesome. You're watching us from St. Louis. Welcome. We're here every quarter. Feel free to check back in. We'd love to have you. That's all the Q&A I got. If you want to do your, let's make some people happy, and then
Let's do it. Let's do it.
and then if there are more questions, if anything comes in, I'll jump back. Other than that, get at it.
Okay. Well, what we need
Cards.
the attendance cards, folks. You want to pull something prior to the Facebook Live folks? Or
Yeah, there's gotta be 2. I think the email said 2 $500 winners from the
From here?
room,
2 from the room?
and 5 of those from the room,
Okay.
Okay.
and then into the pot with all the rest of them.
These,
So 2 of you are walking out of here with $500. Good luck getting out the door. Peter's got a bike.
different conversation.
All right.
And Pete, if you win, you're only on a bike. They will chase you down the street.
You got cards for just the room?
Yeah.
That's just the room?
Just a room.
Okay, if we need a box for the cards in just the room?
Where's the bike? Where's the membership card?
Steve's got it.
Steve, where's the membership card? All your shit's in it.
Or another box? Any box?
See what it says on the front of that box? What does it say?
He said, yeah, no.
How about we get you a box? How many union reps does it take to find a box? We have a box.
Room full of box handlers.
It's a box handle of premium apparently.
Thank you. All right, Facebook Live folks, just sit tight. We're gonna get to you. This is, mix this up a
We'll
little.
pick the first winner.
Terry? Come on, Terry, you're on the move. That's how it works.
After.
What are we doing, 500?
Look out, look away.
Oh, that's my eyeballs. Okay. What is this for?
$500.
500 bucks
Let's do
goes to Gail Hengel. Gail, where are you? Yeah, Gail! Yeah, pick the next winner, please.
You're writing that down?
Yeah. I will.
Okay.
This is for,
500.
now the 500 bucks goes to Marge Clerico. Come on up, Marge.
I'm sorry, I'm keeping yours. Here you go. You're welcome.
Thanks, Marge. Hold on, Marge.
Oh, I got picked.
Yeah, you gotta pick.
You gotta look away though.
Yeah,
Oh, do you want 500?
500.
500.
This is for
$25.
$25 goes to, whoa, Rocky Shalepi. I can't understand. This is some nice handwriting, Rocky. Come on up.
You got it on the back?
So,
Good to see you.
I'm gonna say hello. Don't break my hand.
No, we won't, I promise.
How are you? Great to see you. Pick a winner here, please. Rock.
Pick 2.
Pick two. One at a time works too. They're in there. That's one. Pick another one, please. Thank you, sir. Did we give him his card? Okay.
Yeah.
Kathy Brawley, come on up, Kathy. 25, right? And Nicole Amorosa, 25 bucks. Oh, that. Take your time. Come on up. What do we got? We have 2 more? From the room only?
Yes.
Congrats, Kathy. You pick one, and Nicole pick one, please.
Let me find George.
Oh, he can't win.
Yeah, I know.
All right, pick 2 then, please, Nicole. Danny Gleason cannot win. Danny, if you're still in the
Sorry.
room.
Sticky. All right.
First 2 you picked. Got him? Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nicole. Anne Marie Griffin, 25 bucks. And Oscar Gutierrez. There he is, $25. All right. Now we're gonna dump the rest of them in here, right? Not those.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The-
What am I doing?
Yeah.
Do you want to, yeah.
Oh, nice catch.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it. Empty, it's empty.
Told you we're rusty.
Oh, it's a lot. We got a lot of Facebook Live, folks. Okay.
I don't know. On the front, black.
All right.
3,500. So,
500, 500, 500?
yeah.
All right. All right, let's go, folks. You're still in it, those who haven't won. So,
If you don't check in, you're getting checked out.
Are we
$500.
picking them or are we?
I'll pick them up.
Okay.
$500 goes to Emily Daniels, King Cullen 51. See how that works? Facebook Live's winning already.
Make sure they check it in.
Greg and Vilma, they're checking in. Where's Vilma?
Well, Greg's over there hugging Joe, and Vilma's making coffee. So we don't
Okay.
know.
All right. Thanks.
Here all week, try to cook.
Next 500.
Yes.
$500 winner. Hey guys, next $500 winner goes to Francesca Drago, Stop and Shop 276. And what is this? The last 500?
Yeah.
Okay. Last 500.
Boy, the one who wins the one after this is gonna be pissed. The Rocky Celebrity card.
Barbara Giussino, Stop and Shop 513. Congratulations, Barbara.
Desmond's rolling deep. You're not allowed to collect
That's
the
got
big.
them. All right, those have to go. You got
Okay.
you writing on the where they go?
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, what do we have next?
Wait, this one. Daniels, we have. Just give me 1 second. Pick like a bunch.
I got a bunch.
Thank you. All 25.
I got 3.
3, okay.
Nora Phillips, Stop and Shop 2589.
Thank you. Yeah, Nora. Yeah. I got Nora.
Donna Cook, King Cullen 23. Catherine Merchant, Stop and Shop 502.
Thank you.
Hurry, pick 3 or 4. Oh, look.
Okay, 25.
That's good. I'll take that 5. Good luck.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
Latish Smith, Gateway Glass Gardens 289.
Thank you.
Lori Barbie, ShopRite 206. This one's thick. Stacy Kilmer, Stop and Shop 540. Tanya Gallagher, King Cullen number 8. Where's Jimmy Warsaw? Jimmy, grab a pile of cards.
And I need Stacy Kilmer. You didn't do that one, did you? No. Obviously not. I have a card.
Perfect, thank you. Well, wouldn't have been a meeting if we didn't pull one of these out.
What do you got?
Cindy Yaller, Stop and Shop 2587. Robert Williams, King Cullen 35. Elena McCaffrey, King Cullen number 1. And Denise Weiss Milano, King Cullen 15. We're going to pause and let them get caught up.
Yeah. Kilmer. Robert Williams.
You did that. this.
So what do you got left? 1, 2, 3, 4?
4.
Nope, are you
So
filling?
this is done.
That's done.
No, no, the one in front of you.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have that one plus those 3?
Correct.
So we have 4. That one and those 3. All right, give me 4. Anne Marie.
Wait, dude, Cindy Aller?
I did, Cindy.
Okay.
We have 1.
I only put the dollar amount.
Okay.
Read that one. It fell out of the box.
When you do
Pick
it.
3. The winner. You jumped out of it.
Okay. Gazmen Shabani from ShopRite 290.
Billy Zangrillo, King Cullen 39. John Cregan, Stop and Shop 554.
Pretty good.
And Peter Hoffman, Stop and Shop 516.
Oh, yeah, in the house, baby.
Happy holidays.
Well, thank you.
Happy holidays.
Congrats, Joe.
Thanks so much.
That was terrible.
The universal shake. Zangrillo. We did.
And there should be 1 for Peter.
And Peter Hoffman right here.
You can just hand it over. Thank you, Peter. Happy pedaling.
Okay.
Now we need 10.
What was this one?
Danny Gleason.
Oh.
Can't win.
All right, we have 10, right? All right, we got 10. We got 10 Stop and Shop gift cards. Let's see what we got. Come on, Joe. Pull a couple out. 3, 4. Hold for name. Hold for name. Bergeron. All right, good. All right, good man. We got 3. Oh, this is fix. Diane Nemeth, Stop and Shop 559.
Yeah, Diane. Yeah, clap. Yeah, Diane.
Kathy Glass, Stop and Shop 2565. Oh, the energy in this room is like a fart. Come on. And Rob Foster, King Cullen 26. Sorry, you're going to bridge, Jeffrey. All right, give me 3. 1, 2, and 3. Milton Caceres, Wild by Nature 202. Julia Hankin, or Hanker, I can't tell which this says. Stop and Shop 581. Thomas Moore, King Cullen 55. So what do we got left?
I got, what do we got? Milton is done.
I only have 2.
You gotta fill that.
Thomas Moore, right? We didn't do Thomas Moore yet.
Nope.
No. So
So you got 4 left.
4 left.
All right, 4 to go. 4 to go. Mix is in. Come on, Zach. It's a good pile. You just went for it. I think we got more than that. I'm taking the top. 1. Christina Parlamento, King Cullen 47. You were already going to 26. Amy Nobles, Stop and Shop 581. Margarita Riley, Stop and Shop, ShopRite Glass Gardens 289. And, let's see, can I get it?
It's,
It won't work.
It's a delay. It's a really
Oh, it's
long
poop.
delay.
Diane Mancini, King Cullen number 7. Oh, there it is.
Parlamento.
That's a wrap.
Parlamento. Amy Nobles. Or.
Oh, yeah, on these it's a wrap.
We got one more
We got
card.
that, and then we got a pile of cash.
What do you got? I got one more card here.
There's a pile of cash.
Nobles.
What?
You got Mancini.
You know, for a vig. I'll make sure you get home. All right, what do we got?
We didn't.
For the $500 worth of lottery.
Go around that side.
Right.
Go over by Ally. Look at the camera right there.
Sorry, camera. Here you go.
Oh, that was a loud thump when I came back.
I'm sorry.
This is for,
Lower your mask so they can hear you.
this is for the $500 worth of New York State Lottery scratch offs. All right?
$500.
Joe, if you could reach in there and pick out a name.
Let it be mine.
What do we got?
Jason Brown, ShopRite 289.
Wow!
There you go. We got 500.
Glass Garden's crushing. Where's the Z? Let's go. Show the cash.
Oh, I got it. All right, everybody, so we did a 50-50 raffle for Autism Speaks. I misspoke a little bit before. I counted it 3 times. We raised $2,665. Great job by all the stewards. You guys did a great job. So 1333 will be going to Autism Speaks, and 1332 is going to the name that gets pulled out of this box. So
1333 each.
1333 each, says the boss
Yeah,
man.
whatever. Just put it in.
I got
I don't care. Put it in.
All right.
Who gives a shit? Just pull a name.
1373. All right, here we go.
I gave him a 10, it went up, but somehow it went up $50. I don't know.
I guess it's my math.
We're definitely gonna have someone recount the cash.
All right, and the winner is
$500. Shut up and eat a cookie.
the winner is Laura Bear.
What?
She's lucky, man.
She just won the Ranger Islander tickets 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
Where's she at? Is she here?
I gotta be honest.
Gotta
Need a
the
motion?
winner.
Need a motion to adjourn?
Yep. Need a motion and a second to adjourn. Peter Hoffman, George Roman.
Peter Hoffman and George Roman, thank you very much. All those in favor, aye? Opposed? Happy holidays, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Put the extra buck in there, so that
Laura, man.